for someone.
The man never learns.
He walks
I figured I'd help.
one.
I figured I'd help you out.
You peeked over the bunker and bam, you got hit right in the eyes.
Welcome to the
I wanted to help
DHC
him.
Sports Show. Actually, welcome to our show, because someone who sounds like Harry Carey with a cold is not with us tonight. We have a lot of the usual suspects. We got the mayor, the producer, and the influencer. How are you guys tonight?
Good.
Doing good.
Super tired, but I'm doing well.
Yeah, someone's off yet another trip. What's about the 250th trip of the season for you? Something along those lines? Amazing.
Little 2-day
go
jump
around
to Northern Virginia.
Yeah, exactly. But I was definitely jealous, but I'm glad that you made it to Richmond. We'll let you ask you a little bit more about that later on. But let's do what we always do. Let's go around. But Mr. Influencer, we'll start with you. What are you wearing and what are you drinking?
So today I have the Tri-City Dust Devils. I think it's their home hat, if I'm not mistaken. So our friend Eric, the peanut guy, Tri-City Dust Devils, got there a couple of years ago. And it's got the water.
Very, very nice. Mr. Producer, what are you wearing and what are you drinking?
Tonight's hat I'm wearing is the Alabama White Sauce hat, one of the two of the food identities that came out this year for the Trash Pandas. And I am just drinking water.
Man, everyone's being so responsible tonight. I don't know if I like this. Mr. Mayor, don't let me down. What are you wearing and what are you drinking, my friend?
Well, I'm probably going to let you down. Because I'm wearing my Panthers hat. Just figured I'd throw this on for a little NFL talk. And yeah, I'm just drinking water tonight as well. I had a lot to drink over the weekend with the friends at the lake, so I was like, I need to ease off this week.
All of you are just being so responsible.
I almost put one of Rhonda's Crystal Light packets in it, though, just for you, but I got up here too fast to do
what
that.
An excellent segue, Mr. Mayor. So tonight I am wearing the Chicago Cubs City Connect, or a version of the City Connect. It's the Rockin' Bear, as they call him, or the Rock Bear, whatever you want to call him. And tonight I actually have two drinks. I have some Public sweet tea, which I know Mr. Mayor can appreciate. Not that he drinks a lot of sweet tea, but if he does, at least the Public's unsweetened tea.
Always the Public's tea.
Yeah. And I also have some water here, but I have a couple of packs of Crystal Light, a wild strawberry, a peach iced tea, and a fruit punch.
Sounds like we might be spinning a wheel.
Well, it sounds like
I didn't ask him this. Yeah, I was going to say I didn't ask him this before we went live, but Mr. Producer, do you have access to that wheel of flavors? Because I do know that those flavors were on there.
I do. I had to remove one or two. So.
Oh, which ones did you have to remove?
You had, I don't know. I just removed it. I don't know what it was.
Was it the pink lemonade by any chance?
Yes, it was that one.
Yeah. Okay. I actually do technically have that one. I just hadn't opened a new box of it. But anyway,
so you're already ruining the integrity of the wheel.
No, we're good. We're going to go with these three flavors.
Okay.
Let it ride.
So for Patrick's geriatric wheel of flavors, what do we have tonight? What's he going to retire with tonight?
The answer is fruit punch.
Fruit punch it is. Everyone's favorite wheel of flavors wheel, officially on our show, because someone decided to not make their voice known tonight and decide not to show up.
I know, and I was waiting for as soon as Ed popped on and was going to try to tell us he couldn't talk, I was going to pull out the quiet sign on him.
I mean,
Oh,
I can
well.
do an impression and just be like, Hi, Donnie, how are you doing tonight?
Oh, wait, hang on, everybody. Quiet. Ed's got to speak.
Virgil, what do you have for us tonight? Mr. Producer, what's on the docket for tonight's show?
Man, it's like Ed's right here as we talk. Or you sound like John Laurinaitis. I don't know which one's worse. So
I knew you'd like that, Michael. Sorry. Whole Singer has been after me to get the quiet sign into the show.
So there's going to be a looks like we have a Twitch bot in here. We need to remove that. So
yeah, we might need to block that one.
Yeah, we'll up the security on it.
That's a hacker using such foul language. Shut it, little man.
What's that DHC Sports account doing on our show?
Dang.
I want to see how long he can keep that up before his voice starts hurting. So this is going to be a football-centric episode. We're probably going to talk about our draft from last night, just impressions of the team and all that, where we go from there. We do have a game to pick. We have an NFL game to pick because there's only one Thursday game. We're going to focus on the happenings in college football because a lot happened. I want to get your opinions on a lot of things on that. We will talk about baseball, just the standings and some of the games. Really, I don't think there's anything outside of that really to discuss. And so, but before that, we need to go over who won picks this week.
Ooh, okay.
So I did mention already Friday who won, or not Friday, yesterday who won, but since everyone was not here for that, we're just going to go over the list here. So for the sake of time and everybody's sanity, I'm not going to go over every result here, but we will go over how many games we picked out of, so I can tell you all the hard work you guys had to do in these decisions.
What's up, Polly Pie? Good to see some
and have an
Twitch
Ed
guys
clone
on here.
rant. Yeah. Mike, if Ed doesn't do it, I will certainly do that. So
we picked through 78 games today, or last week.
Ooh. Yeah, Polly Pie, we're talking a lot of football today, by the way.
Yeah, this is going to be a football-centric episode, both college and pro.
Sorry for interrupting, Mr. Producer.
That's okay. So we're going to go over with just the number of losses in this one. So in first place, with only 20 losses, it's Patrick, Mr. Knower of college ball.
SEC bias.
With 20 losses, it seems like really hard to say that I know ball.
Yeah, but it was 78 games.
It was 78 games. That's pretty good.
True. I mean,
that's a pretty good baseball record if you think about it.
Yeah.
The
Hall of Fame numbers.
I'll take it.
Second place with 21 losses is Donnie.
Ooh, wow.
Which I'll have to say this at the beginning of the show, at the beginning after Saturday, you had a 2-game lead, but you also had 3 other games. Sorry, not 2-game lead. You had a game lead, but then with the last 3 games, couldn't make it through.
Dang it.
In third place with 22 is me. And I got screwed by Mercer on that, by the way, so I'm not happy about that. We will be bitching about that later. And then last place with 23, tied Ed and Eric.
By the way, just a couple of things from the chat. Jolly Gango, thank you for that. We appreciate that. And I know I'm doing well. Hope you're doing well as well. Thanks for joining us again. And let's see. Yes, I am Edric tonight. Or am I Endrick, the Real Madrid winger?
No, that's for Monday talk.
Oh, sorry. I'm getting all my nights mixed up. So
Wrong football.
There's some bot account that keeps talking about bias. Jolly Gango, Ed is in the chat, by the way, just so you know, but he was too good to try to show up tonight because apparently he can't talk. So I'll talk like him. Anyways,
yeah, it's kind of tough to do a radio show if you can't say anything. Your voice isn't there. So.
Well, I told him to stop. I told him to stop chain smoking Newports, but he never listens to me.
No.
No.
Or is he Ed Camel instead of is he like his cousin Joe And is he Ed Camel?
Well, he's
Those-
close to Campbell University,
cigarettes.
and they are the Camels. So
Oh, Camel University. I like
I
that.
don't think that's why they're called the Camels.
Oh,
if they don't have a T-shirt in their team store that looks like a pack of Camel cigarettes, they are not doing well.
They would never sell that.
they would.
They're in the heart of tobacco country.
I know that, but still, like that's not.
Yeah.
I don't think they'd ever sell something
Donnie,
like that.
Donnie, this is not the 80s and 90s, by the way.
Oh man, I miss the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, I'm sure you do.
You're fresh in your 60s.
Next conference.
Bro, what?
Oh, Cookie Monster joins us.
Oh, look who it is. Hi, Mr. Dad Hat.
How are you doing?
tonight?
This is as far as I can go with my voice.
Hang on, we all got to listen to him.
Oh,
Everybody.
This is as loud as it can get, man. I'm telling you, that's it. That's all I got. I'm sorry you're going through that.
Since you're here to talk, what are you wearing and what are you drinking?
I'm not drinking anything tonight, and I'm wearing my my hat from Sandlot Goods.
Oh,
All right, you need to go get you a bourbon with some honey in it.
oh, that's right. Thank you for the reminder. This show, our show, is brought to you by Old Fort Baseball Co. and our good friend Logan. For those of you that have never heard from us before, I'm doing this in the Ed voice. If you use code Dad Hat, you can get 15% off your entire order. Again, that's code Dad Hat, 15% off your entire order. And if you're a sticker fan, you can use code DHC to get stickers that are normally $6 a month for $3 a month. Again, that's code DHC, $3 a month for stickers. What a deal. Thank you, Logan. Thank you, Old Fort Baseball Co., for sponsoring this show.
Have you guys noticed that Eric has not come back yet? He's probably hearing what you're doing and says, "No, I'm not doing this tonight."
Well, normally my mere presence keeps him from getting on. So why
Or
would
he
my
went to get ice
voice
cream.
being different be anything? Or that's a long national anthem.
Oh, that's
One
true.
of
It
the
was
two.
the national anthem, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably
Best show ever. Calling it now. Is that because Eric is not here, or because we're doing Ed's voice?
How many games are we picking tonight?
We're just picking one.
57.
Okay,
Just one.
cool.
Yeah, because there's no college games on Thursday, so we'll do college and the rest of the pro games on Thursday show.
Sounds good. Okay, cool.
Sorry, Zach. 1 + 1 is 2.
If that's 7th grade homework, that I have some questions about that.
That's true.
My daughter's doing multiplications in 2nd grade.
Well, then in 7th grade, they must be doing like calculus.
Yeah, right?
I was gonna say long division. I don't know.
I can hear somebody in the background. Is that
Yeah.
who I think it is? Is that pretty girl?
Yeah, she just ran away.
Oh man. Good night, Danny.
All right, producer, get us rolling here.
I'm already lost control. Like it's already done. Like there's no way I'm coming back from this. Okay, so let's talk about college football this week. So had a lot of interesting games going on. A lot of like I said, a lot of games that a lot of us did not pick right. We have some big games coming up. See, how can I do this with comments like that? That's gold.
That's a great.
I'm here for you, the fans. I'm here for you.
He's
Start calling him Bruce Wayne.
No, dear Lord.
He's here in the middle of the dark night.
So some of the games we talked about, we have there's a few people here with fans of teams that probably not too happy with the results of what happened.
Yeah.
Get over it.
Well, I'm not one of them. I'm fine right now.
I'm over it.
Are you over it?
Yep.
No, he's not.
I'm on Troy.
Do you want to, Donnie? Do you want to talk about your Clemson Tigers?
No, there's nothing to talk about.
They sucked. That's it. Hey, well, moving on.
It's done. You don't want to talk about how your team was. You don't want to talk about Garrett Riley, the best OC in the world.
Oh, the mistake hire from TCU. Yeah.
Yikes!
Yeah.
Not for TCU. TCU was happy it happened.
I
Yeah,
thought
yeah.
you
I know
were
we
like,
took him off their hands.
didn't your coach, who basically gets to say how everything runs in college football, basically crown Kay Klubnik as the Heisman Trophy winner?
I don't know if Dabo's crowned him that.
Hold on, Ed is calling timeout.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to give you my pick for Thursday game, and then I'm going to get out of here so you guys can enjoy
Okay.
the show.
Okay.
Okay. So Cowboys versus Eagles.
Give me the fly. Come on.
Wow.
Get you the Flying Cowboys. Gotcha.
Eagles.
What I heard from that was that he's a huge George Pickens fan, and that he picked the Cowboys to win. That's what I heard from that.
I'm also going to give you guys a little sneak peek at my Sandlot Baseball New Jersey first jersey. You ready?
Sure.
Something about you went to New Jersey.
Oh, nice.
Oh.
I
So
like it.
So for those who do not know, this is Ed's
Yes.
Sandlot team, and that is the jersey. It even has a little Old Fort patch on the top. I love it.
I love that.
those are so sick.
That's that sleep right there.
Oh
Those
man.
are so sick. Yeah. So for those of you on Twitch, especially, Ed is the president and CEO of a Sandlot baseball team
There it is.
known as the Broken Bat Baseball Club. So anyway,
Yeah, I'm gonna have to just start commuting up there to play for Ed.
I'm leaving big. Also, Sandlot Baseball Club is going to be joining the Sticker Club.
Nice.
Nice.
Oh,
Very good.
so
Does he know
so
sign
those of you that are
language?
not part of the sticker club, be sure to join and use code DHC for $3 a month so you can get that
I
sticker.
only
with
know
you.
one, and I don't want to use that one.
Ed, please go rest. The chat is worried about you.
Yeah, we need you back. We need you back here
Yes.
Thursday with some kind of voice
Have a good night,
Yeah.
boys.
because we can't deal with this
Yeah.
from Patrick for 2 nights this week.
No, we can't.
I'll see you guys.
All right, later.
Right.
You can't deal with what? Man, look at them. They're calling him king. Look at that. They love him.
They love him, but we also
I
want
don't
to
know.
make sure.
I don't know why, but they love him. Anyways, I'm going to behave now,
I like.
and
Okay.
well, at least for a little bit. At least for a little bit.
So I will say this: I want to congratulate LSU. They're better than expected. From at least better than I expected, I should say. Maybe not better than Patrick expected. Because Brian Kelly has not had a good record, and so there is a precedent of not performing in the first game against ACC teams. So there was that. The thing is, there was a lot of preseason hype about Clemson, and when there are pundits that do not normally care about Clemson and call Clemson overrated and talk bad about Dabo, and they start picking Clemson to win national championship, I get nervous. And I was not liking what I was hearing about that kind of stuff. I'd rather everybody worry about the big dogs that y'all love. Don't worry about Clemson over here. We'll just sit over here and do our thing, and we'll show up later in the year.
You act like Dabo doesn't get media coverage. I can't even believe this.
Oh
this
no, he gets
garbage
the
that
media
he's doing.
coverage. Personally, though, for me, I don't like all of that rah-rah hype because I don't buy it. I didn't buy it. I still have not been sold on Cade Klubnik from his first year. He's been too inconsistent for me. And you guys know I try to be as unbiased a fan of a team as I can be most of the time. Or at least as honest as I can be about the team. And, I mean, I thought our running game was going to be a lot better, but that's a Garrett Riley problem. He's too conservative with his play calling, and Dabo was touting Randall as like, man, we have found a running back right here. This dude is built to be a running back. He's made to be a running back. He's a wide receiver, so he's got the hands to catch the ball out of the field. And what did they do? They didn't use him. They didn't use him out of the backfield. They didn't use him in the backfield. They started running back by committee by the fourth play of the game. And I'm like, what are y'all doing? What is this? This is the same old crap from Garrett Riley that we've had for 3 years, and it stinks. Defense, I know they're going to have problems. It's a new DC. I think he's going to do good. Problem was they let people run right up the middle, and that's been the problem we've had the last few years. So between him and Ben Boulware, the linebackers coach, they let me down. But this is on Garrett Riley, in my opinion, and it's on Dabo for trusting Garrett Riley because he needs to cut bait on that one.
So you're still missing Terry Venables?
We're missing Jeff Scott being in charge of the offense. That's what we're missing, to be honest with you. To be honest. Hell, I would bring back Chad at this point as well to be our offensive coordinator over what we've got now. So it is what it is. I told you guys earlier, I am pleasantly surprised that they didn't drop us out of the top 10. I'm shocked, actually, that they didn't drop us out of the top 10. So we'll see where we go from here. We're going to play the Cupcake ACC schedule. You guys know that. So we'll see what happens. We don't have to play Miami unless we meet them in the championship game. So we'll see what happens.
Let me pull up their schedule real quick.
It's not pretty. It's an easy schedule. I'm not going to sugarcoat that.
Well, I was going to say, what else is new? It's Clemson's schedule is always a schedule.
You start at Georgia Tech. I don't think that's going to be easy.
No, that Georgia Tech actually looked really good the other night.
Yeah,
they did.
Traditionally, that would be the way Georgia Tech's played the last few years. That would have been an easier game. But you're right; the new coach has them turned pretty good right now.
Yeah, and we got a lot of comments over here about some of the games at the weekend, and I promise you we'll get to them because we're going to talk Miami, Notre Dame. We're going to talk, about the other big games of the weekend. So just stay with us, and we're going to talk FSU, Bama. We're going to talk about, some of the other games. So just stick with us.
Yeah.
Phil, I'm sorry. Phil, no, that's how you get banned. That is how you get banned from this show. How dare you bring up that game?
Yeah.
I'm still not over it. I'm completely flabbergasted it happened.
Oh, Michael, thank you very much. Go Pokes. Anyways, yeah.
And Jolly Gango, let's not talk about Texas and Oklahoma running the SEC.
Well, actually, that's kind of a fair question because between those two teams, Texas seems to have the better trajectory to actually hang with the SEC. Oklahoma, I don't know if Brent Venables was probably the best hire to go on to the SEC. I think Riley probably saw the writing on the wall in that and decided to get out when he did.
Yeah.
I hate to say flop because I don't know what flop would be in the terms for those two. But I think Texas probably has the better trajectory right now. But although Texas has also been the epitome of the school of pays the most with the least results, up there with A&M.
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
Well, yeah. And there's been so many cycles of is Texas back, right? There's been this, they've turned a corner, they're back, and then they fall back. And then Sarkisian has been the latest version of that.
I don't get the love for Sarkisian. He's never been a great quarterback. He's never been a great coach to me. He's put himself in good situations and then screwed them up. I
really personally,
they love him.
Really personal.
Do what?
Really personal situations where he screwed it up.
Yeah.
Was Brent Venables the one? Was that the Clemson defensive coordinator? Brent Venables.
Yes.
Okay.
And speaking of Sarkisian, I was happy when Nick Saban brought him in for a reclamation project because he brought him in to run Alabama's offense, which helped us win a championship with Deshaun Watson because he absolutely ran a shitty offense for Alabama that year.
So good, cool question here. Jolly Gango asking, did Miami prove everyone wrong about their defense versus Notre Dame? Eric, what do you think about that?
Let's ask the Notre Dame guy.
Yeah.
No, I mean, they're facing a first-time quarterback going in his very first game on the road against the top 10 team. And they gave up in the fourth quarter. They came back inside the game and then won on not quite a walk-off with about a minute left. So, I mean, they gave up 24 points, so I wouldn't say their defense was great, but obviously they did enough to win, especially there at the end. That very last drive was terrible. They had 2 sacks on CJ Carr, and it's like, where'd the offensive line go all of a sudden? They're supposed to be like the top offensive line in the country. I don't know what happened there.
So how disappointed were you with the loss? I mean, obviously CJ Carr and Notre Dame came back to make it a much closer game. And of course, like you said, CJ Carr's first start. So do you still have a lot of hope? I mean, obviously you're not out of the playoff chase because, I mean, you lost to Northern Illinois. Was it Northern Illinois last year? And then you still made the playoff. So a loss to Miami didn't hurt you in that way.
Well, no, but the bad thing is we have this week off, and then we have Texas A&M, so it doesn't get any easier. We're not Donnie over here playing Merrimack and McNeese State.
Well, that's because you won't join a conference. You want to play an independent schedule, so you have to play all these independent people.
Obviously, that doesn't matter now with the playoffs.
You're right, because they're going to always make sure there's a slot for Notre Dame as long as they win their games. So,
to be fair, though, Texas A&M did look kind of lackluster against UTSA.
Yeah,
A&M's not
I wasn't really that impressed with that.
And don't you have Texas A&M and South Bend this year anyway?
Yeah, but I mean that doesn't matter.
Well, it does because you beat them in College Station last year, and they're a different team at home.
Yeah,
than they are on the road.
With the super senior and Riley Leonard, not a freshman playing his second game ever.
The same Riley Leonard that you were moaning and complaining about every snap of that game, and yet they still won. So CJ Carr is going to have a couple of games under his belt, and so I mean, like he'll have a game under his belt. I'm sorry, he'll have a game under his belt. So I mean, he's going to be playing at home. I mean, I think he has every shot. I don't think that Texas A&M, Terry, I don't mean any disrespect, but I don't think they're in the national championship conversation this year or in the SEC title conversation. So I think Notre Dame has a really good shot to knock them off.
And
certainly don't think they're as good as Miami.
And Marcus Freeman is one of the best coaches there is. So I'll give y'all that. He will find a way to get things straightened out here.
Terry, he Donnie, means all the disrespect. He means the complete disrespect, Terry.
Yeah. Donnie, this is a question for you since you're the ACC guy. Who's your favorite mid-2000s ACC running back? So in other words, who at Clemson did you like in the mid-2000s?
Oh, man, that was a tough one between Thunder and Lightning because they were both pretty solid. But Spiller was the dude, man.
CJ Spiller?
Yep, he was the man. James
Davis,
Davis, the Thunder, though. Yeah, he was a pounded up the middle kind of guy. So,
yeah. And Phil said he's worried because Furman has the blue hose this week.
Hey, Furman had a good. I saw the William and Mary game, so I mean they played pretty good.
Yeah. OU's the new Nebraska, the one that win a bunch of games, and now they're back to being. I don't know about that. I'm not going to go with that, Mustafa. I mean I think they're on the way back up. Obviously, Zach.
I was going to say he's going to get Beeson riled up here in a minute. Better be careful.
Is that? Here's one from Jolly Gang goes, LSU wasting Brian Kelly's recruiting talent by not being aggressive enough with play calling.
I don't know if he's being sarcastic or not, but I don't know about Brian Kelly's.
I don't know because I don't know if it was too much Brian Kelly's recruiting talent, and other than he actually spent money in the portal this year, which he refused to do in previous years, at least in the areas of need that he had. LSU spent a whole lot of money in their in the transfer portal this past offseason, and so they now have a better team and they have a much better defense than I thought they'd have. So
Yeah.
I'm pleasantly surprised, but it's only one game, and we'll have to see. That's the one thing. ESPN and a lot of other outlets were getting really excited about LSU winning the SEC and everything else. I'm pleasantly surprised, but you can't judge that off of one game. Let's see how they play week 2 and when they get into the SEC schedule, because it's too premature to be talking about those kind of lofty ambitions. You have to take it one week at a time. Just like teams that lost, with teams that won, you can't overhype a win and you can't overanalyze a loss. You just have to. It's week 1 for a reason.
Well,
So-
that kid that we forced to sit out the first half, there's a good reason for that, because he came in the second half and he was a thorn. Let's just put it that way. He was a thorn. So
speaking of overanalyzing losses and inflating wins, is Florida State going to win the national championship this year?
Yes, because of Mike Norvell. 100%.
Okay, good. That's what I thought. No, how surprised were you by this game? Florida State, Bama.
I was not only shocked that they won the game, I was like triple shocked that they won the way they did.
I thought they were going to cover, at least. I thought they were going to beat the line, and
I don't even know what the line was, but
it was Alabama by 12. But I was pleasantly surprised by that. Alabama's defense just looked like Alabama State's defense, which I can't even say that because Alabama State actually did somewhat decent.
Do you think, well, not that he's not on the hot seat, but do you think DeBoer makes it past this season at this point?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I think the problem with the DeBoer hire is it's kind of like when I hate to bring this up for soccer, but when Alex Ferguson left Manchester United, the next guy who was going to be in is going to have all the eyes on him.
Yeah.
And so any sort of losses that they have, because you're going to expect some downturn. It's just going to happen with somebody with a legendary coach like that.
Oh yeah, and the fact that the whole team pretty much bolted after he left anyway.
Yeah,
you started all over, because that's just he left because of the nature of college football, and the nature of college football is why they are where they are with the new coach already. And to Big Chupapi's question, the dynasty ended with Nick Saban. It's not about to end; it's already ended. This is another something.
Yeah. And I think that if you look at Ohio State's team, they have a lot of those guys that were at Bama before Kalen DeBoer got there. You know, there were a lot of Saban guys that went into the portal, and there's a couple of the main guys at Ohio State that are former Bama guys. And the ironic thing about the Florida State loss is that the 2 finalists for that Alabama job were Kalen DeBoer and Mike Norvell. So that's the ironic thing, is that when they gave Kalen DeBoer the job, Mike Norvell got a new contract from Florida State, so it wasn't really that big of a problem for him. I mean, he got a huge contract, but oh look, someone's back. He has to write it since he can't verbalize it. Anyways,
and he's on Twitch as well, writing that in.
Yeah, he is. But
I can't tell.
What did Phil say? So who's coach? Good question for all. I'd love to hear from all of you on this. Whose coach lasts longer, UNC or Bama? Because we haven't even gotten into the UNC game.
Bama.
UNC. And I can sum it up in 3 words. Sunk cost fallacy. Think about all the investment they've already put into a book with the show and all that. Think about when he first got there, like giving him basically all that he's wanted. Remember, because he had like that manifesto book or something like that had like 500 pages that of all the demands. North Carolina stuck with him for probably a long time.
As long as Bill wants it to be.
As long as he wants it to be. Now, if he leaves on his own, that's a whole nother thing. But I think North Carolina is probably scratching their head right now going, what do we do?
They have to know what they had and what he had to work with. So, I mean, the fans might be disappointed because, I mean, you always think somebody like Bill Belichick is going to come in and it's going to be, the whole world's instant gratification. So everybody expects he's going to come in and it's Bill Belichick. We're going to be a championship team day one. It doesn't work that way.
But see, I'm surprised people thought that about it's Bill Belichick, and no one really went, it's Bill Belichick?
Right, because look what Bill Belichick's done the last 5 years. He hasn't done anything the last 5 years. So there's no reason to think he's going to come in and just wow everybody. That's just like right now. If Nick Saban was hired by somebody, they would think, oh, we're winning 8 championships. Probably not. Depends on what you give him to work with. And he's already gotten out of it because of the nature of the business now. It's not going to be the same.
So, Donnie, who do you think lasts longer, Belichick or DeBoer?
If DeBoer can win games, I mean, ultimately he's going to last longer if he can right the ship and stay with Alabama a few more years. I don't think Bill's going more than 2 or 3 years max. I mean, DeBoer could stay there, but he's got a lot of work to turn this ship around in Alabama to stay there for 3, 4, 5 years now. Because $60-something million is nothing to Alabama to pay to get rid of him if he sucks the rest of this year.
And he's on the hook for $70 million really right now. They'd be on the hook for
Alabama will. I guarantee you, somebody at Alabama will step up and say, "Here's your $70 million. Get rid of him and move on."
But this happened one time with A&M with Jimbo, right? But A&M has oil money. Alabama does not have oil money, so
they'll find some money somewhere.
Maybe Paul Feinbaum will pay it. I don't know. Eric, what do you think? Do you think who lasts longer, Belichick or DeBoer?
You didn't like my answer to start with, so I'll have to say it again.
Did you say it? I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I was the first one to go. I said DeBoer is going to last longer.
Oh,
he didn't elaborate, but he did say that.
Yeah, my bad. That's on me. So anyways, sorry to the chat on that for making Eric, and sorry to Eric for making him repeat himself. That is on me. But anyways, Virgil, what do we have next?
I want to answer some of these questions here, like has the SEC peaked? And then has NIL ruined the SEC? Which I'll go ahead and answer that second question. No, it hasn't ruined the SEC. What it's done is just levels the playing field, because you always hear references about SEC paying players way before anybody else. That's not a conspiracy. It's probably a common thing. Alabama almost got the death penalty for it with, what was that guy's name? The one that came from Memphis. I think it was Albert Means. I have to go look that one up. So this is not anything new for them. The problem is that everybody else has now caught up to them. As for the SEC peaking, and the Big Ten is slowly becoming a stronger conference, I don't agree with the Big Ten becoming a stronger conference, because it's still going to be it's still a top-heavy conference. So you're going to have really your 3, Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State in there. If you could have some teams in the middle be more consistent, like, you have your Indiana and Illinois have a good shot to be that, then I will probably buy into being a stronger conference. But right now, it's still a 3-team conference for me.
Well, the SEC and the Big Ten have both been that for a few years now. They all don't believe that within themselves, but it's always been the case. I mean, the SEC's like, oh, we're top to bottom, we're better than anybody. Well, your bottom feeders are going to always be bottom feeders. They none of them have done anything to change that. It's been a top heavy, just like Big Ten. I think the other conferences historically have been more balanced top to bottom, or less disparity, I should say. Not maybe balanced, but less disparity top to bottom. But that's been their downfall too, because they don't get ranked high to start with. They beat everybody up, and you only end up with 1 or 2 rising to the top, whereas the SEC has 5 teams, Big Ten has 3 or 4 teams ranked high. They don't play any of the other teams that are ranked high except for maybe 1 or 2, and so they don't beat each other up, and the top stays at the top. So
Mike's pushing back. Iowa and Oregon isn't a top team.
Okay, so I forgot about Oregon, so I'll get Oregon. Iowa,
again, Oregon's a Pac-12 team. They're not a Big Ten team. They're just like Texas and Oklahoma. They don't belong yet. They got to earn it.
Yeah.
To me,
Yeah.
I just don't even consider them those conferences yet until they've been there long enough
Oregon,
to really be there.
Yeah. Oregon's facing a powerhouse this weekend, and I'm loving the war of words already. Speaking of that,
Oh, Patrick, that's nothing. Did you actually read the article to that?
no, I did not.
I know you didn't. No, if you actually read it, it's just it's comments taken out of context. And trust me, the last thing I want is to have any beef between coaches in a game like that. I don't want Dan Lanning to have a reason to beat them into a bloody mess already.
No, I didn't hear anything about it, but I do know that Mike Gundy, by the way, go Pokes. Mike,
He's just
I do like
himself
Mike
up.
Gundy. I know I am. I said Mike Gundy. No, I said I love it with Mike Gundy that I like it when he raises the temperature on a game. Even if he didn't in this context. You what?
Even if it's by accident.
Yeah.
Oh, Mike.
Anyway.
Iowa's always a 9+ win team. Yeah, and the Steelers always win at least 8-9 games too. So, what's that gotten you?
Yeah,
black and gold, black and gold.
Yeah,
Mike, is that a Kirk Ferentz effect?
There was a span where Oklahoma State was a 9-win team. I will still never say that they were in the top of the conference because you had Texas and Oklahoma. That's there's always a line there. That's just how it is. Until Iowa wins a Big Ten championship in the next few years and actually beats one of them, then yeah, sure. But I mean, they're definitely they're not a bad team. I'm not going to say that. They are definitely a great program, but I wouldn't say, I don't know if people would say they're an Ohio State or a Penn State, maybe a Michigan, because I don't think Michigan's going to keep consistent.
Yeah, they're going to drop back down now that they don't have a Harbaugh driving that one right there.
Do you guys think that Kirk Ferentz ever tried out for the Marvel movie for the role of Hawkeye? Just for the record.
Need to work on that one.
What?
Moving on.
He's been the head coach of the Hawkeyes for like what, 25 plus years?
Yeah, so. He's the longest tenured coach right now at the same job.
You're just making my argument about him and Tomlin, the Steelers and Iowa. I mean, both of Mike's teams are just kind of just riding along, not getting anywhere, just on that long highway to nowhere. And y'all know I'm just giving Mike y'all know I'm just giving Mike a little bit of crap because I have to.
Went to OKC this past weekend, and the Comets game was a blast.
Okay, I'll give you that they're a solid mid-level team.
Yeah, solid mid-level team. I definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Phil.
All right.
Okay, so there's another question. Will the SEC still be the best conference if Georgia and Alabama both fell off at the same time? Georgia's really interesting because historically they've not been where they are. Even during the past, with Smart getting there, that's really kind of changed that program around. So their success has been a little more recent, I would say. But even if, let's say those two fall off, that means they'll just attach on to a Florida or a Tennessee. They're still big names that people will still kind of hype up, regardless of how. Go ahead.
There's usually at least 8 teams of the SEC that are in the top 15 or 20. So you take your pick, whichever ones fall off, they're in the bottom part of that top 20, and the others just kind of float around, different ones rise up. To circle back to something that kind of what Patrick was saying, and you were talking about the NIL, that made me think about this because he talked about the buyout with Jimbo. The NIL kind of killed Texas A&M, I think, to some extent, because those guys spent a ton of money to try and get players, and then everybody was spending a ton of money suddenly because the rules changed, and that just sort of killed what they were trying to do. And I think it didn't necessarily kill the SEC but it should put a hurt on the pocketbook at Texas A&M, because those guys ponied up a lot of money before NIL was really a thing.
I think Texas A&M kind of did that to themselves.
Yeah.
Like, even if you take the money out of it, I mean, it's still Texas A&M.
I mean, they hired the wrong coach to begin with all that money, but at the same time, they thought we're going to throw a bunch of money at it and get this coach in here, and we're going to get these players in here at the beginning of NIL, and the landscape of NIL was like, these players can go somewhere else if they want to and still make the money and not have to deal with Jimbo.
Well, they put all their chips in on Jimbo, right? I mean, that was their home run hire. And then and now they're still paying off $75 million worth of his contract. So they couldn't hire another guy for that same salary. So that's when you go for Mike Elko. Not that Mike Elko is making chump change, but he didn't get a Jimbo Fisher contract by any stretch. So
well, and there's not going to be too many coaches that keep getting those kind of contracts because of this either. I mean, look at Lane Kiffin. I mean, what's he doing at USC? He's doing nothing. I mean, not Lane Kiffin. Lincoln Riley. Sorry, Lincoln Riley going to USC and getting paid big time to go to USC and leave Oklahoma for what? For nothing. I mean, these guys aren't going to keep getting these big contracts to come coach a team. You're not going to get a guy that's going to jump in and get paid, even like the Brian Kellys and all. That's just not going to keep happening. These guys are going to start going after younger, cheaper guys to try and bring in the players and do something with the players that they can get, rather than hire some big name coach for a ton of money. That's what NIL is going to do to college football.
Yeah. Eric, what do you think NIL is going to do to college football? Or what do you think it's doing to college football?
I mean, I would say it's kind of leveling the playing field like everybody else is saying, but I mean, they should get paid, but maybe it's not so much the NIL as that I don't care for the transfer portal. I think that's more what I don't like.
Yeah, that's fair. And that's a whole different argument, right? There's NIL is just one issue and the transfer portal is a completely separate one. But they both
But everybody said coaches, I mean, they could just leave as however they wanted to. So it's like, how was that fair to the students? So the coaches just like, see ya. But then the players could leave. Now they can, but it's just, they need to limit. I don't know what they need to do, but they need to figure out how to limit it somehow and get it under control a little bit. I don't think it would be as bad because Notre Dame's benefited the two previous seasons where they've brought in a senior quarterback to take over. This was the first time in 3 years where they haven't done that. They've actually used one of their freshmen that they actually recruited.
Yeah, they've got to limit the you can't just transfer every year. They've got to stop that. I give a player a free pass the first move. After that, you got to sit a year, and you only have so many years total that you can play. I mean, beyond 6 years total time window.
Because I sent that graphic, and I forgot who the player was now, but he already had like 6 different teams he's transferred to, or schools he's transferred to, and that's insane.
Yeah, that was TJ Finley.
Yeah,
TJ Finley, who's now at Georgia State. But Eric, you brought up a good point about the coaches versus the players. One thing I do think is that I don't want to hear anything from coaches about loyalty because coaches have always left at the drop of a hat if they get a better job. Not everybody. You've got your Dabos and other people that stay at a school, but Dabo's also at a Clemson where it's hard to go up from there in a lot of cases. And you know, there's only like 1 or 2 jobs that you would go for in a position like that. Like Dab would probably be Alabama, and he already turned that opportunity down. But I don't want to hear about loyalty, coaches complaining about loyalty from players because they've never had loyalty to students or programs in 95 to 96% of cases for me. So
yeah,
I mean, you have your Kirk Ferences, you have your Dabos, and you have other guys that have long. Mike Gundy's, I can actually use that one and get away with it. Who've had long attachments to programs, but in a lot of cases, you have guys moving on unless they get a huge bumper contract, every 3 to 4 years, and guys just aren't staying unless they have success at a big job like Georgia like Kirby Smart has, or Nick Saban when he was at Alabama. Because if you don't produce, you're either moved on or you move on to a bigger job when you do well at a mid-major, or if you do well at a just below that top tier of jobs. I mean, you're going to be paid to take one of those top jobs. So, but having said that, I agree with what you guys are saying, that there needs to be some kind of control in place. We went from absolutely nothing for the players to the players having everything, and you need to find some type of happy medium, whatever that is. I don't know what the answer is to that.
They overcorrected. Is what
Yeah,
they
they
did.
overcorrected. Well, it's just the extremes, right? It's like everything we do. It's the extremes in sports, and then we've got to find some way to bring it to the middle to try to make some sense of all of it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So let's see. I think we're pretty much. Oh, well, we've got Vandy for a national championship, obviously.
I'm assuming he means in baseball.
They're heading in the right direction. Clark Lee was with Notre Dame staff a few years back. He's a really good coach.
Yeah.
Well,
And
I think that's where
they beat Alabama last year for what it's worth.
Yeah. Well, I think that's where you're going to see what Eric's talking about with the parity, and kind of what I was trying to say, and maybe I didn't say it the right way with coaches, is like you're going to have these younger staff coaches get these better school jobs because the schools aren't going to go out and pay 20, 30, 40 million dollars a year for some big name guy to come in and try to fix the program, because he can't control the program anymore. The players control the program. So why you'll spend some money on some coaches somewhere, but not necessarily everywhere. What teams are going to be looking for is a coach that can manage the current landscape of players and that can adapt to different players coming and going all the time. So you're going to have some of these guys like he's talking about, and some of the other coaches that maybe wouldn't have gotten an opportunity at a big school in the past because they weren't a big name. Now they're going to get that opportunity.
Going back to the transfer portal, since you mentioned Vanderbilt real quick, I know a lot of us do focus on the players that do jump from team to team. And while I think that can be quelled, I mean, there has been some really good success stories of what the transfer portal was really for. Diego Pavia is a perfect example of this, because you see what he's doing at Vanderbilt, but he started at New Mexico State.
Yeah. He
started at a school that really not a lot of people would have eyes on. And it was that Auburn game that really got him a showcase for that. And, now he's doing great things at Vanderbilt. Stories like that is what makes the portal great, in my opinion. But at the same time, like you said, you've got there's so many things to tweak with it to actually make it better. Because, you talked about coaches going on and moving on to different jobs. But how many coaches go from like a new job every year? There's probably maybe a handful of them, and you probably don't want those because they keep on jumping.
Yeah.
So I think that's where that difference is between player. Yes, and I agree with you, the whole loyalty thing, but that's really the main difference for players. Like I said, we just went over a player who this is his sixth team going on. And it's like, at that point, why?
Yeah, I mean, you have some guys that'll transfer.
DJ Uwagale is another one that I always think of.
Yeah,
started out at Oregon State, ended up at Oregon State, and then Florida State. And
he left Oregon State because the coach there left for another job, so he used that as an opportunity to jump to Florida State. So, in my opinion, he was doing good at Oregon State. He should have stayed there with the new coach coming in. But what do I know? One of the other things talking about. To some extent was Dabo got criticized for the last few years big time for not using the portal. But to his point, there weren't guys that he saw in the portal that were any better than the guys that he had. Yeah, there's a lot of guys going into the portal. That doesn't mean they're good. And there's a lot of success stories of guys that have used the portal to jump from a smaller school to a bigger school and get to where they're getting more playing time and doing better. And that's what I like to see, is those guys that maybe weren't recruited by the bigger schools because they were going after some flashier player. And then a kid goes to a smaller school and it's like, oh crap, this kid can actually play, and they transfer into a bigger school. That to me is what the portal is about, not to just go try to keep finding a place to play because you're not happy with the playing time you're getting where you're at. And again, Dabo did bring in some portal guys this past year, but they were guys that should help us. And it's the first time he found guys that he thought were going to fill some holes. And I think a lot of other teams are like, maybe he had the right idea to begin with. And instead of getting criticized, they should have been like, yeah, maybe that is what he should be doing.
Yeah, I think there's a lot more portal success stories out there, like you mentioned, like going from a lower league to a higher league. And really, those are the ones I like to focus on mostly, because those are the ones that actually kind of shows, hey, this is why it's here.
Yeah. Well, and to the comment back here that Phil had about Beamer Ball and Jolly Gango saying something about South Carolina never realistically competing for a championship. I don't believe that that's the case with South Carolina. I think Shane Beamer is a hell of a coach. I think he's what I was talking about earlier. He's a coach that is getting an opportunity as an assistant to take over a big program that probably wouldn't have been given that opportunity in the past. And he has year by year brought in portal guys to build a roster that is steadily getting better. Now, whether they win an SEC championship, well, yeah, I mean, whether they win an SEC championship or not, that's going to be determined by the parity that's coming from the NIL and the transfer portal amongst all the other SEC schools. But he's done a better job than most have in the past, and they learned by getting him that bringing in your Lou Holtzes and your Steve Spurriers is like, that's not the way to go anymore. Which they should have never went that way to begin with, because I thought they screwed several coaches way back in the past to begin with. Sparky Woods was the first one that they really did wrong.
Well, and I think that South Carolina can compete for the championship. I mean,
all
you have to do is make it to the championship game, and we've seen certain teams that have made runs. I mean, Alabama's not the same. Texas is not perfect. I mean, the thing in the SEC, as much maligned as it is, anybody can beat anybody in a given week. I mean, Alabama getting beat by Vandy last year. I think, and South Carolina, if a couple results went their way last year, like LSU didn't deserve to beat South Carolina last year, and they got lucky and escaped. South Carolina had that football game. I'll be the first one to say it. So, and if a couple of those results go their way, South Carolina's in the college football playoff.
Yeah.
So, and they have a chance to. And then once you get in there, it's a free for all. I mean, that's when all you have to do is get in, and then you can play for the championship. So, and I think they have a good chance this year. They're already number 10, and they looked good against Virginia Tech.
Yeah, the problem with them though is they don't ever get a good schedule, because they end up playing the some of the best of the best. But
I'm so glad you said that, because I have their schedule up right now.
Because they have a gauntlet coming up after about 4 or 5 weeks. Woo,
all right, so here's their SEC
schedule. So they don't play a Clemson schedule, is what you're saying?
No, but there are other SEC teams that do. But that's a whole other story.
So their SEC opener is versus Vanderbilt. Then they go at Missouri, then against Kentucky. Then this is where the gauntlet starts. October 11th at LSU.
Mm-hmm.
Then next week, Oklahoma. And then Alabama at home. Then they go at Ole Miss. They have a bye week. Then at Texas A&M. And then they finish with Coastal Carolina and Clemson.
And Coastal Carolina is not I mean, if you're going to bring in a smaller school, that's a tougher one to be bringing in.
If you saw the UVA performance, you probably
historically, I should say. Yeah. This year, maybe not so much. Just like Alabama. I mean, I think Alabama's going to be a whole different Alabama by that week.
Yeah. I would say, even though it's Coastal, but they're no Citadel.
Yeah,
you're right. You're right.
Well, and who was it? Mike said South Carolina. Mike said South Carolina will always choke.
Both us.
By the way,
and,
how have we gotten
and South Carolina are doing our part to write a paycheck to a state school. So,
and Mike brings up a good point. How have we gotten an hour into this? I mean, we talked about Belichick briefly, but how did we not talk about the game versus TCU? getting an
What
hour
game?
into this.
What game?
There was no game to talk about.
There's no game to talk about. That was a murder on TV that we saw.
That game has in
So-
most places on social media been dubbed the age difference game.
Well, the craziest stat from that game that I heard on ESPN today, what was over 2 hours? For over 2 hours, UNC didn't complete a pass. Like it was from like it was like 8:0. It was like 8:12 until like 10. It was like 10:20 or something like that. I don't remember the exact time, but it was over 2 hours that UNC didn't even complete a pass in that game.
Yeah, Johnson came in and didn't complete like his first 2 or 3 passes, but then he nailed one. But they had to go to the backup quarterback. The other kid was getting killed. So,
but 2 hours though, 2 hours of a game where you don't even complete a pass. So you can talk about 70 new players. You haven't had time to kind of work your system in. But when we're talking about only completing a pass, that's just basic fundamentals that you can't make excuses for that. So
yeah, I don't see how UNC's quarterback's making $4 million too.
Well, speaking of $4 million, how happy were Tennessee fans watching UCLA lose? Because Yamaleava, he did not play well in his opener for UCLA. So,
well, this another one that's kind of like good riddance to him. So,
but I will say this about that game: Devin Dampier from Utah. Watch this kid. Like I said, he's a great runner. He's a great passer. He's going to be a problem in the Big 12. I mean, he may get Utah to the title game, in my opinion.
Okay,
interesting.
So,
what do we have? We've got some annoying account. DHC Sports. That's a win. Sorry, that's a loss. Win. Bama's beatable.
So I want to talk about that for a minute. That's really, for me, the litmus test game for South Carolina.
Which one?
Bama.
Oh, the Bama game? Yes. Because Bama will have time to right their ship somewhat during the season to get to that point.
Yes. Because, I mean, like at LSU, if they're hyped for it, I can see that. But to beat a Bama team that will most likely be struggling compared to how they were before. It depends how their schedule goes. They already look mortal. They don't look like the immortal Saban teams that we've had to deal with. South Carolina should be able to win this game at home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because, I mean, again, I'm not trying to bash anybody's team, but by the time they get to LSU, that's going to be a top 10 matchup. I mean, maybe even a top 7 matchup between those two teams. Yeah. And then, so if they lose that game, if they win that game, that's a whole other ball game. If they lose that game, they're sitting at what, 5 or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They'd be 5-1, mm-hmm. So they could be 6-1, 5-2, worst case going into the Alabama game. Yeah. I'm with you on that one, Virgil. I think that's going to determine what the rest of their season is going to look like, I think.
Yeah, I think that's where I'm kind of picture going with that.
Eric, what do you think about Bama, South Carolina? Or what do you think about Bama being beatable?
No, yeah, for sure. I mean, it's early. Haven't seen enough of them yet. Super surprised how they played the other day. I don't even know who's their starter.
Ty Simpson.
Ty Simpson.
See, I don't even know.
He's somebody that's been with their program for a while who's not a transfer in. He's kind of one of those wait to turn kind of things for QB, which let me make sure. Let me pull it up. I want to make sure I get that right. So, yeah, he's somebody who's not like a high-level name. He's been there for a while. He's a junior. But he's been just riding on as a backup. So this is now his time. The board game of chance.
So yeah, I mean, we'll see after he gets a few games, like what how he can do. But
Yeah.
I mean, South Carolina, Mike's brother is, he's experienced, going to be one of the top quarterbacks this year, I think. So I think they'll be better this year.
Well,
Pretty sure it's half brother.
Alabama's got Georgia in 3 weeks, so we'll see where that puts them, because that's at Georgia.
Yeah, the interesting thing about Kalen DeBoer is that he's won everywhere he's been. I mean, this is the first stop where he's really run into a big challenge. I mean, obviously, this is unlike any other program he's ever been a part of. But I mean, he won at Fresno State, he won at Washington, he won. He was what? Was he Division II at some point as well? He was a D2 coach too, wasn't he?
Grand Valley State came to mind, but that's not right.
Yeah, I thought
Might have been.
I thought it was Grand Valley State. But anyways, the point being, he's won wherever he's been. So this is his first real challenge where he's got a demanding fan base, right? So losing when you have Saban as your coach and you're losing 1 to 2 game or 1 to 2 games a year, if that, you expect a lot. And we're instant gratification these days with our teams. And they expect to stay. Bam fans reached a certain level, and they expect to stay there. And
they've got their own.
To see how he responds to loss at Florida State, because they have the 7th most difficult schedule in the nation, I think, or something along those lines. So Bama's got a lot to do.
After they get past Georgia, I mean, they got Vanderbilt, Missouri, but then they've got their own gauntlet around the same time that South Carolina has theirs, because they play Tennessee at home, at South Carolina, LSU at home, Oklahoma at home, and then Eastern Illinois and Auburn to finish the season. So they've got Tennessee, South Carolina, LSU, Oklahoma. That's a run right there for anybody. I don't care whether Alabama's traditional Alabama or not. That's 4 games right there that's going to be tough.
It was Sioux Falls, by the way.
Okay.
It was Sioux Falls. Okay.
Sioux Falls.
Jolly Gango, thank you for that. We appreciate that. Eric, I can't believe you keep dominating all these conversations.
Well, with Ed talking too much, I can't really get in a word. Plus, I'm not perfect, Ed. Don't call me Jesus, please.
I don't think he's calling you Jesus. I think it was Jesus, comma. Eric, stop talking so much.
There's 0 comma.
This is why commas are important. Yeah, this is why commas are important.
Paul will tell you. Paul Caputo would be like, punctuation's important.
There was an interesting question earlier from the biggest bird. I like to talk a little Ole Miss. Is Lane Kiffin more interested in clout than actually building Ole Miss into a true contender? I'll tell you this: he likes spending a lot of money in NIL. This is right up his alley. And I'll tell you this: the boosters in Oxford are more than willing to back him with whoever he wants to get, and they're doing that with NIL. Ole Miss has been one of the biggest beneficiaries to me of NIL, because they're not only spending in football, they're spending in basketball. I don't know how much they're spending in baseball. You guys could probably speak better to that than I can, but I know in basketball and football, they've been spending big money to try to. Now, is that going to translate to success? It has not yet, but we'll see. And they've only played Georgia State. I can say that because that's my school. But we'll see how they play against the big boys. But they just gave a brand new big contract to their defensive coordinator, and he's one of the highest paid assistants in the country now. So Ole Miss is one I'm going to be watching. I'm interested to see what they do this season, but time will tell for me.
We talked about teams going on the downward trend in the SEC. I think Ole Miss's window is about to close. I think they had the 2021 year and then last year with Dart. I think those were the years to actually try to get in that upper tier, and that just did not happen.
Yeah, it wasn't.
That Kentucky loss. That Kentucky loss killed them.
Yeah. I mean, Lane Kiffin's one of those guys that he's been sought. He's like Lincoln Riley. He's been sought after everywhere he's gone. He's burned bridges everywhere he's gone. I don't know. I think Lane Kiffin loves him some Lane Kiffin. He's like the Kanye of football coaches.
I will give him this, though. He stayed at Ole Miss a lot longer than I thought he would. So he's actually been there. I mean, I'm not saying he's not still Lane Kiffin. He is, but he's a little bit. I think he's dialed back a little bit from what he used to be. But I mean,
I don't know
but,
what he.
but then again, he hasn't had an Alabama. He hasn't had an Alabama or anyone calling for him to be a head coach either. So
Right. I don't know what his like his ultimate job would be, because he's had several of those already and fizzled them. So I mean, maybe it was Alabama. Maybe he was hoping that they were going to call. But the problem was he should have stayed where he was at FAU until the right one came up, instead of just jumping to the first SEC job that came up. Because if he had not been at Ole Miss, it's possible Alabama might have considered him over DeBoer. But I don't know what his ultimate, like, where do you go from Ole Miss? I mean, you've been at Tennessee, you've been at USC, you've been at small FAU, you've been at Oakland Raiders. I mean, you coached in the NFL, you screwed that up. So I don't know.
Kansas.
So
is he waiting for a Big Ten job?
So I'm just going to throw this out here, since I know about their situation always comes up. James Franklin gets knocked out of the first round of the playoffs again. Penn State decides we need a change.
I mean,
good call.
That's the only place he really has to go is the Big Ten.
Yeah, I don't see. I mean, Michigan, I can't see yet, unless they just flat out, unless Routmore really just ruins everything.
Or
could you imagine Lane Kiffin at Iowa if Ferentz decides to call it?
Is he a Big Ten coach though? He's like
who? Lane?
No, I don't.
He's an SEC guy. He fits the SEC mold of coaches.
And Lane's family, Lane has kids going to Ole Miss at this point. Not that they can't transfer, like all other kids, but it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I mean, it's well, since we're talking about coaching hires and coaches, did Texas A&M waste a decade of elite recruiting with bad coaching hires?
Absolutely.
Not that we're going to turn this whole thing into the Texas A&M show, but Donnie, you were saying, I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
I just said absolutely they did. Yes.
Yeah. But I mean, I think throwing all your chips in on Jimbo, I mean, I think he only stayed on so long because of the type of contract he had, but it was clear for years it wasn't working. I mean, they had one good year where they were near the top, and then they regressed after that. They hit that. It's kind of like what Virgil was talking about with Lane Kiffin. They hit that high point, if you can say Ole Miss had a high point, and then for Jimbo, it just kind of went down from there. I mean, he got what he's making the money he's making, and they went like 6-5 or 6-6. I mean, for a Texas A&M program that was looking to cement themselves as an SEC powerhouse, which they've never really done, that was their opportunity before NIL got big. And Donnie, like you were saying earlier, with them spending all that money, having the 12th man, Kyle Field with the like all the investments in Kyle Field to make it, isn't that 100,000 plus now or close to it?
It's pretty close.
I think it's over 100,000, isn't it? Because I mean, I know they're trying to be like the big house in Michigan with like over 100,000. But they made all those investments and all that money. What is it?
102,000.
Yeah.
102,000. So, and it just hasn't translated into success on the field. So it's at least not consistently. I think Elko has been I like Elko as a hire. I think he was a coordinator at A&M before he took the head coaching job. Before he went to Duke, and then he came back to take the A&M job. Go ahead, Virgil. I'm sorry.
I wouldn't say a decade, because I think it was mostly Jimbo, but I'm also probably the world's biggest Kevin Sumlin apologist.
Well, Sumlin, if they'd have stayed with him, I don't know where they'd have gone. Let's put it that way, because the landscape was changing.
7-5.
They just weren't,
exactly.
Like you said, they weren't getting over that hump with him. Like, he started out like he was going to be one of those coaches that was like, okay, this guy is going to be a guy, and then he wasn't.
Yeah.
So they needed to make a change, because I think you, Patrick, said that they needed to make a change, but Jimbo was the wrong change. But it was already going bad before Jimbo got there, and then it just got worse.
Should they have gone back to R.C. Slocum?
Listen, I will make a case that RC Slocum was probably the last time A&M was relevant,
100%.
like consistently
I mean,
relevant.
Well, and they had to keep him around the program because he was athletic director as well after he left as head coach.
Mhm.
And then let's see. I want to make sure I get Zach's in here. Going to be a repeat of this was from an earlier conversation, but going to be a repeat of last year when Alabama and Oklahoma played. Or Texas. Did Texas? This is obviously the Horns. Did Texas only join the SEC for money, knowing they can't dominate like they did in the Big 12?
Can I take this question, please?
Yeah,
Please
you
go
go,
ahead.
because I know what I want to say, but you'll probably say the same thing better.
I want to hear
Texas
from
did
you
not
and from
dominate.
Eric on this.
Texas did not dominate the Big 12. They had the biggest budget, yes. They had occasionally, made it to a title game or did really well, but that was run by Oklahoma. Texas moving out was kind of, they have a tendency of killing conferences if you think about it, because they did the same thing with the Southwest. Texas moved because money, not because they were bored in the Big 12, because they were never really. There are seasons I could look at where they probably weren't even like the third or fourth best team. Like I said, they were always Texas. They always were mediocre.
Are you saying Charlie Strong wasn't?
They had a lot of money, but they didn't have SEC money.
No.
Here we go. I was waiting for this.
See, Zach, I'm going to throw you a bone here because I'm not even going to dispute that.
Yeah. So are you trying to suggest that Charlie Strong was not as successful at Texas?
Now, listen, I said I was a Summerlin apologist, but I am not a Charlie Strong apologist.
Yeah, that was.
And are you trying to say that Tom Herman was not a success at Texas?
Herman was a worst hire.
No, but that's to your point, though, that they had some of these coaches there, but that did not translate to success in the Big 12.
They had the most money in the Big 12, but they weren't the best team in the Big 12. And I think
so
Oklahoma,
the last time Texas.
Go ahead, Donnie. I'm sorry. I think Oklahoma and Texas went into the SEC for more money and thinking that they would come in and be at the top of the heap. That's not true.
I think one of Texas's biggest mistakes was getting rid of Mac Brown.
Yes.
They, like any success they did have in their later years in the Big 12 was due to Mac Brown. And then they got greedy and they got rid of. I'm not saying Mac Brown was successful every year. And I'm not saying that Oklahoma still didn't dominate, but they were, at the very least, they were competitive when Mac Brown was still in that job. And then they got greedy because they weren't where they thought they should be. And then that's when they brought Charlie Strong in. And when that didn't work, Tom Herman, and they were worse than they ever were under Mac Brown. Even when Texas had QBs like Major Applewhite, they were still better under Mac Brown, in my opinion. That's just my thoughts on it.
No, we'll say, yeah, during Mac Brown's time, especially when when Young was there, and even with McCoy, yeah, they were able to beat Oklahoma, be in the Big 12 championship game, be in the national title game, and win a national championship. They beat that pretty seemingly invincible USC team. So yeah, I mean, I will give Texas their due, but if you go past, like I said, you go past Brown, there may be 1 or 2 years, maybe they have 10 wins.
Yeah.
But really,
there was 1 year under Charlie Strong. I think they had 10 wins. Am I wrong on that?
No, you're not right on Strong. They had 10 years under Herman in 2018.
Oh, that's what it was. Okay.
I think that was the who was the quarterback for that?
Oh man, that was
I think that was Sam Ellinger.
Ellinger, yeah.
Of Indianapolis Colts fame.
Yeah.
What a gunslinger.
So yeah, they have definitely put quality. They've had quality years, but I mean, like, I'm looking at their records after Brown, and it's like there's only two.
It's like seasons. One big ouch.
Yeah, in Big 12, there's 2 seasons where they have double-digit wins.
Well, but both them and Oklahoma, and then Oregon and Washington bolting for the Big Ten and these guys bolting for the SEC, they all bolted for money without consideration of the fact that they were already in a better position to make the playoffs than where they were going. Because both of them, all four of those teams, if the Pac-12 stayed and these guys stayed in the Big 12, both Oklahoma and Texas had more money than just about anybody else other than A&M. Well, excuse me, not A&M, other than in their conference. And then they go to a conference where, yeah, they're going to get more money, but they're not going to have a better chance of getting to the playoffs than where they would have been. And they killed those conferences to some extent.
Has anyone actually heard from Washington since they moved to the Big Ten?
No, exactly. That's my point. They were a front runner of the Pac-12. They were in the conversation. Again, they were playing a schedule that allowed them to be one of the, the 1 or 2 loss teams. And they were a Power 5 conference. So their path to the playoff was fairly easy. Just like y'all say it is with Clemson and ACC. And I'm not disputing that. The ACC, Pac-12, and Big 12, those are easier paths. I know they are. But that's why I've been saying for everybody, Clemson and Florida State need to jump off of the ACC. No, they don't. They need to stay right there and keep winning that conference and being in the playoffs and then do what they need to do in the playoffs.
Eric, any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I'd rather talk about soccer than SEC football.
Wow, that's bad. That's bad if you're willing to talk soccer because you can't stand talking soccer.
Well, if Notre Dame was in the ACC, he could talk ACC. I mean,
but we're not, so I don't have to.
Yeah, but remember that time you played for an ACC championship, even though you weren't in the conference? Like, how did that happen?
Oh,
we had no choice. It was 2020.
I think a pandemic happened. Maybe that's what happened.
Yeah, well, that wasn't Notre Dame's option. That was the ACC trying to do something, or ESPN or somebody.
I mean, and plus his other team, Kansas, played Wagner. There's really nothing to talk about there. So,
well, we've talked.
Well, I guess we could. I guess we can circle back around to the Presbyterian Mercer now if we need to.
We don't need to.
Okay.
We don't need to. But I do want to ask, I know we've been talking about a lot of the big games going on. Were there any games that you guys watched or any surprises that you came across that we probably have not talked about yet? Because I don't know what is wrong. That Kansas State, North Dakota game, I've never seen Kansas State kind of play like that. And I'm wondering if that's going to be a downturn in Klein's years or not, because losing to Iowa State is one thing, but the struggle against North Dakota and the way they did, and really it took a last-second drive to beat them. Usually Kansas State's been pretty consistent, pretty good in the Big 12, and I don't know what to expect from them this year. But so far, the product's not looking too good.
I saw a little bit of that game, but not much. The Georgia Tech game is the only other game I really saw some of, and Georgia Tech was way better than I thought they were going to be. So that's all I can say.
I'm such a big Brent Keith.
Yeah.
Do you want me to ask 128, 175 her thoughts? Actually, I already know her thoughts. Do you want to hear her thoughts?
I actually kind of curious what she says, because I'm pretty sure it's a lot of screaming and yelling. Yeah,
she's not happy with quarterback play right now. Hasn't really been a big fan. And it's kind of iffy on the head coach as well. So they've had some decent teams, but we were talking about some of those SEC teams. Like, are they ever going to make it to like a national championship? I think they're the same way. They can maybe come close to competing for a Big 12 title, but beyond that, they're not going to do a whole lot. I don't think.
Yeah, it's like I said. They've always been one of the teams when OU and Texas left. I thought they were going to be kind of like that next level of, going to be competing consistently for Big 12 championships. And honestly, I thought Oklahoma State was going to be that, and so far that hasn't worked out either. But I would hate to see. I'd be curious how he does for the rest of the season. Like I said, I know it's just 2 games, and North Dakota is one of the better FCS teams, but still just surprised by that.
Yeah, I didn't really see many other games. We had a lot of other stuff going on, and didn't get really to watch much. Auburn, I think that one was a pretty good game too. I wasn't sure what Auburn was going to do, but anyway.
Yeah. Well, we've been talking about college football for like the last almost 90 minutes. I do want to make sure we get to some other sports, namely the NFL, since it starts this coming week. You heard Ed talk about earlier in his brief appearance that he was picking a game because we have a Thursday night game. And for those that joined us last night, we had our fantasy football draft. So, Virgil, do you want to lead that discussion about our fantasy football draft?
Sure, but let me answer the Jolly Gango question that came in real quick. No.
I was going to say the same thing to the Big Chupapi question. Lane Kiffin's already burned the NFL bridge. Nobody's going to hire him in the NFL.
No. So yes, we did our fantasy draft yesterday, and as someone who has never done fantasy before, it's my first time doing it. I had a lot of fun, even with 14 teams and all that. And also my draft grade is a C, but
Yeah,
man, I got a D.
C's get degrees. That's what I'll usually say.
Yeah, and mine was a C, and Eric Profit got an A.
That means absolutely nothing. I had an A last year and then it was terrible, especially when there's going to be.
No, you were not terrible last year. Don't even start.
I'm not talking about this league. You know, I play in multiple leagues, right?
You can't spell last without an A either.
No, of course I know you play
when
in
it's the
multiple
middle of the
leagues.
season.
It's like knowing that you're a Wichita
injuries,
fan and that you travel for baseball.
Yeah, I don't do that. But when there's going to be injuries and people to pick up by bye weeks, there's going to be literally no one to pick up. Then we'll talk then about having an A.
And he didn't. I got all the Packers players, and he still got an A. So I mean, he didn't even pick his own team's players and got an A. So
I mean, I looked at Eric Profit's team. It's absolutely stacked. Considering that it's a 14-team league.
That means nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Well, you have a really good team. Well, I liked your draft. I really liked your draft.
Well, let's dig in and actually talk about our teams then. How do you guys feel about what you drafted? And how is Darla going to win the whole thing this
year? I don't know what I'm doing, but I wasn't very wild about my team either. So,
yeah, mine. I'm not 100% sold on my own team either. So, young Profit's gonna absolutely steamroll my team in the first week. So, I'm gonna get a football lesson, and maybe he can teach me how to work this thing. I don't know. I mean, I got some players.
Virgil's going to steamroll somebody this weekend.
Just for reference for people to understanding, if doesn't know, Mr. Prospector here won the league last year.
Exactly.
So don't buy into it. Don't buy into this humbleness he's doing.
The biggest bird. It was just so you know, it was a complete fluke.
Don't listen.
Just so we're clear. Virgil is like a savant when it comes to fantasy football. Donnie is like a pool of knowledge. I mean, he's been playing fantasy. He kind of invented fantasy football because in 1865 they didn't have it, but he's been around since the advent of it. And then Eric plays in like 700 leagues. So this is the kind of competition that I have.
Why are you so excited about my team when week 1 I play official league and they're projected to beat me?
Yeah, your son is projected to beat me very handily, by the way.
Well, yeah, because he knows his sports.
He's a teenager.
I know he does, and he's
much better at this than us.
He's going to beat the brakes off of me. I know that.
But also, how cool is it to get to play against a one-on-one matchup against official league?
Yeah, I think it's awesome that they're in the. I love that. Yeah, I love that.
Does Ed even know who it is?
Does what?
Does Ed even know who it is, or just some random behind the?
I asked him if he knew who it was, and he didn't.
It's probably an AI.
Well, not only that, but also there, that Josh Kish or whatever his name is. He's like a sports writer, so he's in our league too. That Jay Kish.
Okay,
Justin
I didn't
Kish.
know who that was.
You know who that
Yeah,
is.
he's like a sports writer, according to what Ed told me. I don't know him, but he apparently messaged Ed and wanted to be part of the league, and I'm like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And obviously, you've got 3 big stars here, influencer, producer, and mayor that are in our league. So, big time social media magnates and all that.
Cut the stick. You're going to win the league this year again.
Oh, I'm not. Just
no,
take a
he's
look
not.
at my roster.
We're not going to
Just
let him
take a
do
look at the
that.
roster.
Easy, Virgil.
Just look at my roster. My team's my baseball team.
My team is
college
terrible.
Team. Oh no!
Oh no! Yeah.
Nobody's buying that shtick.
No, I'm not buying it.
Oh, they should, because my team is terrible.
Okay, right. Yeah,
Terrible.
what you said last
Terrible.
year.
Yeah, terrible.
You got to remember, I was starting out producing when you were in the playoffs. So I mean, I know what to expect from you.
It was a fluke.
Mm-hmm. Put all my luck in that game. So we do have a game to pick today. That's going to be on Thursday. I'm going to wait till Ed gets back to actually go over NFL insights about who we think is going to win. Maybe even go over each division by that, but we're not going to do that today since he's not here. And then we'll also do our college picks and pro picks on Thursday. So looking forward to doing that.
So another 4-hour show.
Yeah.
No, so I'm not going to have 78 college games to pick.
Thank you.
Sure.
I've cut it down to 72.
Yeah.
Plus the NFL, so 147.
We like to control ourselves.
No, seriously, for
You?
college, it's
Controlling
just gonna
yourself?
be- What?
Patrick says we like to control ourselves. He's the least controllable person here.
That is true. And he has the one with all the controls, sadly, so that makes it worse.
I'm talking about. Oh, cool. We got a free Frosty. No, I'm talking about his. Never mind. He's giving me that look. Never mind.
We're going to say that one for after the show. So, for college games, we're just going to focus on top 25, and I'm handpicking a few interesting games, and then 2 FCS games.
Okay.
So,
Yeah. Biggest bird. Send us in the chat what your team is. We'll circle back around to that.
So our game is Cowboys versus Eagles. So before we actually pick, before we go on and pick with this one, how are you guys feeling about this game already?
I think it's going to be more competitive than people have been saying. Just because the Cowboys traded away a big player doesn't mean that you can't forget about their offense. I mean, I think that George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb is as strong of a wide receiving top 2 as they've had. That's if George Pickens has his head in the game. But I think with the new start and also playing for a new contract, that he's gonna want to prove some people wrong. So if Dak, I mean, it depends on what kind of Dak you get as well, but I think it's going to be a lot closer because it's a divisional game too. So I think it's going to be closer than people think.
Yeah, I mean, Dallas is going to Dallas, and Eagles playing at home, ready to make a statement in the division. I agree with you. I don't think Dallas is going to be just because because like you said, they got rid of Micah Parsons. That's a big get rid of, but they've always had a lot of other holes, and I think they've filled a few of those holes. They've got some good guys in some key positions on defense. It's one of those. It's like addition by subtraction. Whether people want to believe it or not, Dallas may play better as a defensive unit without Micah than be a better defensive unit on paper. But I still think Philadelphia is going to win pretty handily. I think they win by at least 2 scores.
Who's their running back?
Who's Dallas's running back?
Yeah.
That I don't know.
So they didn't
One of
play
them is
that
blue.
well.
Oh, Blue, yeah, because I draft. Yeah, well, Blue's one of the new guys because I did draft him in my fantasy team,
Yeah.
but I picked him up late. But I don't know who the starter.
It shows Javonte Williams.
Okay,
Oh, is it Javante? Okay.
it's gonna boil down to whether Dak can keep Pickens and CeeDee Lamb both happy. From that standpoint, I just don't know if Dallas has the overall defense to stop everything Philadelphia is going to put at them. But Philadelphia is not going to run away with it like crazy either. Because I'm sure a lot of people are like, Dallas is going to get toasted. That's not going to happen.
Then watch Dallas get toasted.
Again, as I've said on this show before, if you want to make money, bet against what I say. So to all these new guys, if y'all bet against what I say, you'll probably make money better than if you go with what I say.
So since we have the three of you on, I want your opinions on how you think your teams are going to do before we get into the whole NFL season, or get into the whole NFL itself. Just what are your personal expectations for your teams this year? And we're going to start with Eric on this.
So you're not saying just this weekend, but all
just for the season, yeah.
Well, first of all, they said that Mike is not particularly healthy. I mean, to an extent. So how healthy can he stay this year? How many games can he give us? How will he fit into the defensive scheme with all the other existing guys they already have? I don't know. I'm still kind of – Love's gotten them to the playoffs both years, but he struggled a lot more last year than he did the year before. His issue was throwing a lot off his back foot. Did he correct that? I don't know. We'll have to see. So, to me, I think they have a good receiving core and a good running back. But I think, to me, the offense is going to be more of a question than the defense, at least as of right now.
So do you think Love will actually improve, or are you fearing that he's going to be more the same?
I don't remember if his quarterback coach changed or not, because Rodgers had Alex Van Pelt for a while, and that helped him. I hope they fixed it, but I just think it's going to be more of the same. He'll have moments, but I don't know. I'll have to wait to see.
Okay. There is a new quarterback coach. He was promoted to the role in 2015, Sean Mannion. So that is another quarterback coach there.
Yeah, I don't
Did
know.
Nathaniel
We'll see.
Hackett
Hopefully
end back up in Green Bay?
Sorry, say that again.
Did Nathaniel Hackett actually end up back in Green Bay? I'm actually asking as a serious question.
No. I don't remember. I don't know.
I may be thinking of somewhere else. I thought he ended back up somewhere.
I'm not sure.
For me,
He did.
He did go back there? Okay.
He's a defensive analyst.
That's right.
Okay, so he went back as an analyst. For me, the Panthers, I think they'll do better than last year's 5 wins, partly because of their non-conference schedule is somewhat favorable, I guess, or could be, depending on how these teams pan out. I mean, we start with the Jaguars, so, I'm going to be torn there. That should be a win, I would hope, but who knows? It's at Jacksonville, so anything could happen there. Cardinals, I'm not sure what the Cardinals are going to bring. We got the Patriots, we got the Dolphins. Who knows what the Dolphins? We got the Jets, we got the Seahawks. So, I mean, there's 4 or 5 non-conference games that that we could definitely I could see us winning. Plus, we're going to win some in the division, so maybe a 7 to 8 wins best this year, which would be a good improvement. I don't know that we're not going to be in the playoffs, but that's just because I think there's better teams in our division, and the NFC's pretty stacked.
You're making Patrick laugh over there, writing your own jokes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what it was I said that got him choked up, unless he was on a delay there about my Jaguar comment.
That's
Probably.
exactly what it was.
So all I'm hearing is Chuba Hubbard's going to win the rushing title. Is what I'm hearing.
Oh gosh,
Well, Pokes.
no. I think Canales is getting the team in the right direction. I think patience is needed. I don't know that they, like I've told you guys, I don't know about the receiving core because I don't know that they've really given Bryce Young really good weapons. I like Leggett, but he's not really a solid number two, to be honest. But that's what he is right now, is number two. Our running game. We're pieces away from being a better offense. I just hope that he keeps making the defense better, because that used to be our forte, and our defense isn't that great right now either.
Did you hear what his little hesitation was on the running game?
Who's hesitant?
You were kind of like, our running game's
Yeah, I heard that. I know
heard that.
I know. I'm waiting from the correct his mistake that he said.
What did I?
The running game's just You have Chuba Hubbard and it's just come on, man. What are you doing?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think he's an elite running back. So.
Are you going to take that from him?
What's the punishment for that, Virgil? Isn't it a go Pokes?
I believe that's 2 hats you now owe me after leaving my ass in Chicago. Before we get to Pat,
it has nothing to do with where he comes from. I just don't think.
Clearly, it does. I mean,
well, if he was a running back at Mercer, I wouldn't say that, but still,
that's fair. And plus, he's Canadian, so you don't like Canadians. So
yeah,
that's
so apparently he feels about Stillwater.
I love Canadians.
Apparently he feels about Stillwater the same way he feels about Biloxi, because he just attacks locales as if it's no problem. So Biloxi first, and now Stillwater. It's a shame.
Once he has some cheese fries from Eskimo Joe's, he'll come around on Stillwater. But before we get to Patrick's, I want to let's look at this fantasy team right here.
Okay. He's got good quarterbacks. Okay, pretty good quarterbacks.
He's got Bijan, so I mean that's a plus.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what ETN's going to do. He's kind of hit and miss right now. Has been every time.
Are you talking about your boy like that?
Yeah, because he's not been consistent. That's been his biggest knock since he went to Jacksonville. Plus the injury didn't start with.
The wide receivers don't wow me.
Yeah, because Brandon Cooks. I mean, that's a 2 or 3 time retread right there. Waddle, okay on the tight end for me. I don't know much about game. Oh, he's running back, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a running back. Gainwell is in because he was in Philly last year, and is it Pittsburgh? I think he's in Pittsburgh this year.
Yes, Pittsburgh. Okay, I was trying to think of where he was at. I think you're right. I think you got to figure out how to get some better wide receivers, maybe.
I don't think Waddle's terrible.
No.
And
I wouldn't play. Personally, for me, I don't know if I would play Gainwell as a flex. I would make. I mean, I know it doesn't really matter specifically. I'm not trying to get too deep into this, but I would have Bijan Robinson and Gainwell as my running backs, and then depending on who you've got on your bench, ETN could be a flex unless you've got a better wide receiver person to put in a flex.
Yeah, and Cole Kmet's one of those guys that will get you 17 points one week, but then get you like 1 the next week. He's not a consistent point getter because Caleb Williams doesn't use his tight end consistently either. So
I'd be curious who's on your bench and who is available still at wide receiver and tight end that did not get drafted.
Offering Gainwell and Waddle for Stephon Diggs and Breece Hall.
That's almost a wash.
Well, I was going to say,
See,
I think Breece Hall's an upgrade.
I like Hall. Yeah,
Breece Hall's an upgrade. Yeah. I don't know if Stephon Diggs is an upgrade on Waddle. Waddle's an X factor for me.
Brees didn't have as good as year last year, I don't feel like. But do you know where he's from?
Wichita State?
Yeah, because Wichita State has football.
What are you doing, Patrick?
That usually when you ask where someone's from.
Wichita, just not Wichita State. You know what high school he went to?
Same high school as
yours.
No,
it wasn't.
Barry Sanders.
It's Barry Sanders, yeah.
He's trying to play. He says he claims he knows everything about me, and then now he's trying to play it cool. Like, I have no idea about any of this.
I don't know what I'm doing. So.
Well, it sounds like what we're saying is that's a doable trade if you want to do it.
Yeah.
But speaking of
where did Barry Sanders go to college?
What was that?
He went to high school.
Where did Barry Sanders go to college?
He's wanting to do his little shtick.
I know.
That's what he's wanting to do.
But speaking of
went to my son's high school here in Wichita.
But speaking of not knowing what you're doing, Patrick, let's talk about the Colts.
I don't know, man. I'm Daniel Jones. I mean, that's where you start, right? To be serious, I like what the Colts have done in the offseason. I like what the Colts have done in the offseason on defense. I think that they've definitely improved their defense, particularly in the secondary. I'm excited about Tyler Warren at tight end. I think that he's someone that can do some really good things there if Daniel Jones and or Richardson use him the right way. I think the biggest thing is that we're lucky we play in the AFC South, because I don't think any team in the AFC South, from the Houston Texans to the Florida Fighting Donnies to those Tennessee Titans, no one is just jumping off the page as being really, really good.
That's always the most wide open division in the NFL.
Well, I think it's between the Texans and the Colts. I really do. But I mean, the Jaguars, I think it's between three teams. It's a 3-team race. But if Daniel Jones could be serviceable, we might be okay. We're not winning any Super Bowls.
Yeah.
So that's my opinion on the Colts. But I do like I said, the secondary is where I'm excited about, because I think we really did improve there. Because last year we had nobody of note, and now we've upgraded there. So I'm excited about that.
Well, let me ask you this real quick. Because Irsay was always one of those owners that demanded a lot, even when it was the wrong decision. Mm-hmm. Do you think they'll be better for it with him no longer involved after his passing? I mean, you think that's going to make the team operate better, or maybe not make the impulse stupid decisions?
Well, I'm intrigued to see how his daughters run the team, right? Because I mean, the oldest daughter is now the new principal owner, but really all three daughters have different roles within the team. So the Ursays are still involved.
Do they let the football people do the football thing?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so.
That's where I think Dallas is going to have to go one day too.
Well, I guess the question is going to have to be: is Scott Ballard still the right guy for the job? Because Scott Ballard had an opportunity to really put his stamp on this team, and it's it's not gone as great as I would have hoped. But
yeah,
I mean, it's still the same family, but a different vision of the ownership, and so we'll see what happens.
Yeah. All right, we got to go ahead, Eric.
was just going to ask, so Virgil, how about those LA Rams? What are your thoughts?
Super Bowl, baby.
Okay, Patrick Jr., let's calm down.
No, but seriously,
I love how everybody's Patrick Jr. I love it. Just
speaking of somebody
I
who
live
needs
rent free.
speaking of somebody who needs new
In the hip
material.
words of Donnie, I live rent free.
Yeah, really for them, I mean, they made the playoffs last year. They ran the Philly and can't beat them. I think they won't get over that hump again. I think they'll probably win the West. But I mean, I'm not really expecting anything different this year from what they did last year.
Let me ask you a question then. So he didn't get much younger, but Davante Adams is there now, and he's a slightly younger quarterback than Matthew Stafford than Aaron Rodgers. So do you think he'll have a pretty big year with Stafford?
I like to think they do go with Stafford.
Do what now?
You said that you think the question about having a year for Stafford? I can't hear you right now.
Do you think Davante Adams will have a much better year with someone like Stafford?
Yes, I think so. I think
Davante Adams is going to make Stafford better.
Do you think Stafford makes it through the year with his back problems that he's had? Or do you think
that's
he's going to be in and out, or do you think they're going to manage that?
That's really the big question right now because, I mean, it's Garoppolo behind him. So, I mean, don't feel too good about that. Although, I mean, I do admit Stetson Bennett did actually have looked pretty good in some of the preseason games he was in, but like he's not ready. He's not ready to start. Who am I kidding? Stafford making it. I think he plays the majority of the games. I would be really surprised if he plays all of them. But I think he plays a good bit.
Sorry,
I think Kyron Williams is going to be a big.
Sorry, I was just going to say, sorry it was so loud. They were doing that dumb thing called the wave. So it was a little loud. But yeah, I was just asking, like they said, if you thought, not that wave, that Davante Adams would have a pretty productive year with, since he no longer has Rodgers throwing to him in either Green Bay or New York. Now that he has Stafford, if you think that'd be a good connection. It'll be interesting to see for me how he plays. I don't know if West Coast is going to be any different for him. I know he's from there. He played at Fresno State. So I was just curious of your thoughts. But then, yeah, Kyron Williams as well. So I think, like you said, they'll have a pretty good year. I don't know that they'll go too terribly far in the playoffs, but I think they have a shot at winning the division.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think it really depends on matchups in the playoffs at that point. Because like I said, they ran to the Eagles last year, and that just didn't bode well for them.
I think Davante Adams is going to have a resurgence with Stafford because the tension's going to be on Puka. So I think Davante is going to get probably more than he would have gotten before anywhere else the last few years. And Stafford, I think Stafford's going to get him the ball as much as he can because he's a veteran presence. And if everybody keys on Puka Nacua, then Davante's going to find some holes.
They're going to key on Davante. They're not going to key on Puka.
Well, if they do that, then he's not going to be productive, but Puka's going to just run shot over everybody.
Because I told you guys what was going on with Cup last year. That was surprising that he really, really struggled. I mean, there's probably reasons for that, but he's Seattle now?
Yes.
Yeah, Seattle.
And then didn't whoever that was, Biggest Bird was talking about available wide receiver, Sky Moore, isn't he in Seattle now? Because it didn't the Chiefs trade. Is that where he went? So I don't know if he went back and answered that question, but I'd say probably Chris Godwin, maybe DeAndre Hopkins.
Okay, so we got this trade thing going real quick. Let's see if we can jump on this and help him real quick.
Let's see. So, well, I'm trying to
Sky
figure out
Moore,
who's got
Godwin, and Hopkins for Biggest Bird. Those are available? Should he take one of those guys over the receivers we were talking
Cooks
about?
and Waddle.
Yeah, but he's also got an offer for Bijan and Cooks to trade him AJ Brown and Javonte Williams.
No, because you're upgrading wide receiver, but you're downgrading running back. So I would say no.
Yeah.
I probably don't take the trade.
And Bijan's an elite running back in fantasy versus AJ Brown. You've got a lot of receivers. You can fill that in. It's hard. The running back depth is thin. So
yeah, you don't want to give up Bijan.
Your elite running back. So
as far as the available receivers
trade.
between Godwin, Moore, and Hopkins, I mean, Godwin's coming off an injury. Moore's going to another team. Not ever been that great. It's kind of like just mid-level guys right now. Hopkins isn't even what he once was.
Where is Hopkins now?
He's in Baltimore.
So he's not even with Kansas City anymore?
Mm-mm. He's with Baltimore.
Yeah, I don't expect him to do a whole lot there.
But whether any of those guys would be better than
all around.
Yeah, whether those guys would be better than, I mean, any one of those guys is probably better than Brandon Cooks. I'll say that. I don't know about Jalen Waddle.
Is Brandon Cooks still in Dallas, or did he move on too?
He's back with New
Orleans.
New Orleans, yes, he's back with New Orleans.
Oh well, then don't take him. Spencer Rattler's throwing to him.
Right.
Yeah. Also, to answer, I don't know if he answered Eric or he didn't really have a question, but that's going to be kind of awkward when you lose to the Bears this weekend. There, Lichtenberg.
Cool.
Yeah. Ooh. Well, I'm going to be intrigued to see how JJ McCarthy does.
I am too. I'll be curious how that goes.
I hope he suffers.
Tell me how you really feel.
It's almost like you're a division rival or something.
Sorry, I know it's kind of loud in here. I hope he does terrible.
So, who should the biggest bird sign from those guys? If I had to rank it, and Donnie or Virgil or Eric, I'd love to hear your thoughts, but of the ones available, I'd probably go Godwin, Hopkins, Moore for me.
Yeah, he didn't like when I gave my ranking earlier, but yes, I would agree on that.
Yeah, I even though Godwin's coming off an injury, I think he's still probably the better option just from the standpoint of where he's at and the team around him. Hopkins is probably going to get some stuff from
Lamar.
Yeah, from Lamar, but he's also going to be dealing with Trey Flowers or whatever for touches. So
Zay Flowers
for touches.
Yeah.
So I was just watching this Houston guy miss this ball at the wall.
Yeah. The Raven and Lamar Jackson is a lot like a Drew Brees in the sense that he doesn't throw to just one guy. He passes it around to everybody. I mean, Andrews, Isaiah Likely, Zay Flowers, Henry gets a lot of carries. Be interesting to see if that continues this year with Henry being another year older. But I mean, until he slows down and doesn't produce, he's going to get a lot of carries. So, Baker likes throwing to Godwin in the slot. So I think that.
Yeah, well, not only do you have Mike Evans that they're going to have to key on, but then now they have Emeka Buka. So I think Godwin, if he gets healthy decently quick, I think he'll have another productive year.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. There's also McMillan as well, by the way.
Who?
McMillan from Tampa Bay.
Yeah, exactly. Who?
Yeah, Jarrett McMillan. He played really well last year. Who's that? Hey, buddy. Hey, Easton. Yeah, so I think if Godwin can prove he's healthy, I think he has a good year. So anyways.
All right, so if that's out of the way, let's officially get our pick into the spreadsheet. So we have Thursday game between the Cowboys and the Eagles. Philadelphia is a 7.5-point favorite over under 47.5, and Eagles are 68.7% in the predictor. A little lower than I thought it was going to be when I looked at it initially. So Ed has picked the Eagles. At least I think that's what he said. I couldn't hear him. So, Eric, who is your pick?
Just to confirm, we're going straight up, right?
Straight up.
Yeah, Eagles. I don't really agree with Donnie on much, but I think it was Donnie that was saying that it could probably be a little bit closer of a game than people are giving credit for.
I'm glad you listened to what I'm saying.
those two guys actually said it could be. Well, I agreed with them that it could be closer than people think, but I also was the one who said that that it would be a 2-score win.
I just wanted to give somebody else credit. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah, you're welcome, Patrick. But anyways, yeah, Philly. I do. Okay, yeah, now I remember you said it was double digits. Yeah, I agree with that. I think it'll be like a 12-point game.
This guy.
You're welcome, Patrick.
This guy.
Okay, Donnie, I think you've already said your.
Yeah, I mean, based on everything I'm saying, you should know it's the Eagles. I think the Eagles are going to win by at least 2 scores.
No,
Okay.
he's going to compliment the Eagles and then come back and talk about. But I think the Cowboys are going to win.
That's so 2025 me.
So Patrick picked
It
the
is
Cowboys.
2025.
So Patrick has picked the Cowboys. Okay.
No, I'm picking the Eagles. Eagles raising the championship banner.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
I meant
no,
24
with the Eagles,
25, not 25 26. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
I think it's the first time since 1972 that they've played. 1970 something since they've played Eagles Cowboys opening game of the season, and add into it that the Eagles are lifting a championship banner as defending Super Bowl champions. The crowd's going to be up for it. I think who was it? Their center today said, "Who gives a care about us lifting a banner? We're playing the Cowboys this week." So I think the players are going to be up for it. So give me the Eagles and fly, Eagles, fly.
Okay.
Did I know that? Well, you're saying this is the first time they played at the beginning of the season. I thought when Philadelphia won the Super Bowl before, the next year they played the Cowboys when they raised their banner. Was that not the first game of the season, maybe?
It says first opener versus Philly in 25 years.
Okay.
Was it only 25 years? I thought it was the 70s.
Well, unless maybe they played.
Well, the 70s only feel like 25 years ago.
Maybe for you. Let me just make sure what this says.
No, I mean, I probably heard it wrong. I'm gonna trust you over me on that.
Yeah, everything says 25 years.
Well,
Now before that, it was 1976.
I thought it was 1976. That I thought I saw that on ESPN today. So
yeah, so 1976. Now, the thing that you're maybe misremembering, I think what's different is that this is their first time in Philadelphia since 1976. But not the first time.
So they played in Dallas as an opening game.
They played in Dallas
25 years ago.
And 25 years ago.
That makes sense.
So,
that makes sense.
You know what I usually do when it comes to games? I always try to find something interesting to make you guys think there's a better chance for Dallas, and this time I can't do it. So I'm picking the Eagles.
There's zero anything you can tell us to make us think that Dallas would be a good choice to pick on head-to-head.
Well,
matchup.
no, at least to make the game more intriguing, like I do for the college games.
Nothing with Dallas you could tell us would be intriguing. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Listen, short of Brandon Whedon making a triumphant return to Dallas, there's nothing you can say.
Yeah, that's not happening.
Nope. That's not happening at all.
Well, that is all that I've got, unless you guys want to go back to college football and talk about FCS, which I do not, because we've already kind of said all we need to say there.
I mean, it's really a shame we didn't spend any time talking about college football tonight, but
yeah, I feel like that was really lacking. We'll pick it up on Thursday.
Yeah, we'll do better. But it's that time of night where at least those of us that have things going on this week talk about what's going on this week. So, Mr. Mayor, what you got going on this week?
Just work this week. Nothing special going on. Oh well, Saturday we do. I'm sorry, we do Saturday. I could have saved that for Thursday.
He just said there's nothing special going on this week.
I'm just thinking like between now. I was just thinking between now and Thursday, but
I mean, I get
Saturday,
it. I'm not Eric. Okay,
Saturday.
I understand.
Well, and I don't want to
he
steal Eric's
insults you to
thunder.
no end, but you always compliment him whenever you go to a game with him. But okay, that's fine.
I don't want to steal Eric's thunder for what he's got going on with his podcast, but you and I are going to be hitting the Spartan Burgers on Saturday. So you, I, and
Pick up
Mrs.
that
Mayor.
burger bar.
We're gonna go
check
check
out that
out
burger
the
bar.
regular season last weekend games at Spartanburg.
And check out that burger bar.
I do want to check that out and see what all kinds of toppings. See
I'm
how
sure
many I
it's- I'm
can
sure-
fit on one burger.
I'm sure it's fantastic.
Well, according to Phil, it is.
Yeah. Mr. Producer, what you got going on this week, my friend?
Well, just working on getting what games we're going to pick for next week, for Thursday. And really, that's about it. There's no Trash Pandas aren't in town, so there's no games this week. Next week will be the last series.
And I'm going to give a quick plug for those of you that are on Twitch. If you are on Instagram, make sure to give the mayor and the producer a follow for their content. The mayor does a lot of hats of the day. He has different themes that he does throughout the week. And Virgil posts hats that he wears at the games because he's known as the hat guy at the Rocket City Trash Pandas games. So Jolly Gango, Biggest Bird, and all of you that are on there, make sure to give. Do you guys want to give your handle so they know where to follow you quick? And then we'll get to the Eric on this for the same thing.
They can find me on Twitter and Instagram at WiseDRJR.
And I'm
WISEDRJR.
And I'm on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch as Lost Gumball.
And they have really good content, so you guys check them out. And speaking of great, way above average content, make sure to follow this guy. He has about 97 Instagram accounts and I don't know, maybe only one X account. But Mr. Influencer, what do you have going on the Earn Fun Way Above Average podcast this week?
That's funny if you think I only have one Twitter account.
Well, you've got 97 Instagrams. I get lost in those.
It's one for each league he's in.
That's right.
Well, I was going to say it's going to be E-Rock something, but whether it's stocks or hats or whatever it is.
Baseballs, jerseys. Yeah. So Earn Fun Average podcast. My co-host Johnny and I tomorrow have that guy up in the corner. Can't really see him over there. The guy that's waving over there. Ready, charge. This is the longest music ever. Charge.
I'll jump in real quick
right.
while that's loud. So me and Mrs. Mayor are going to be on the Earn Fun Average podcast, recapping our trip to Wichita from a few weeks ago with Eric and his family, and even Samantha from 128, 175.
And it was so long because he doesn't stop talking that it's two-parter. So part one tomorrow with Donnie and Rhonda. Had to split it up.
That must be nice that you got invited on to recap your trip to Wichita. I never had that opportunity.
Yeah, I think you came before the podcast started, probably.
Aren't you glad that I when I do the show, I'm very efficient and don't have to take 2 episodes to get everything out?
Yeah, well, Donnie and how much he talks. So.
Yeah.
It was Rhonda.
Yeah, it definitely was not.
Hey, I knew when he said y'all have to log back in for the third time. This is going to be a long one.
Yeah. Eric, I did want to give a quick shout out to the Earn Fun Average podcast. I was doing some traveling this weekend, and there was a lot of your episodes. You guys have continued to do an excellent job. I enjoyed the one with Virgil. I enjoyed the one that Donnie was just on like 5 episodes ago. But really, really excellent content. And so Jolly Gango, Biggest Bird, you guys check out the Earn Fun Average podcast wherever you get your podcasts. It is they say it's America, lower your standards. Average is what these 2 guys do best, but they do a great job. In all seriousness, and make sure to check them out. And Eric, anything you want to say about your podcast?
Yeah,
since it is yours.
Donnie on like 5 episodes ago. Were you just that far behind?
He was.
I was.
I was gonna say Donnie hasn't been on for a while.
I think when he was catching up, he was listening to probably
Christmas 2023.
No, I think it was the Prophet Palooza one.
About 6 or 7 episodes.
It was probably Prophet Palooza that I was on, and then
Oh yeah, you were on.
No. I literally listened to Earn Fun Average for like 3 hours straight, and that is not a lie. 3 straight hours of that. No, but you brought on Donnie. No, you brought on Donnie to talk about Prophet Palooza.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay, your internet connection is getting bad because I said that already.
I don't.
He's
need
not
you-
even reacting. You got such a delay right now. It must be crazy.
Oh, do I?
Yeah.
Well,
It's okay.
All right. Good night.
All right. Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah, no.
That's where we end the show on dead
I didn't
air.
know. If you,
Love
I
that.
didn't know if you had anything. I didn't know if you had anything else that you wanted to say about your podcast.
no,
No,
I was
you
just
said
I was
everything I
trying,
needed you to.
I was trying to time your reaction to what I said.
I wish somebody else would bring a podcast back so I don't have to talk about it, mine just by myself every week. But nobody else wants to do that.
Listen, I'm trying to work on the Brockmeyer one. Okay, I'm sorry it's taking this long.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I know Ed's due to bring his back. You know, we'll let him answer that, but I know his will be back imminently.
He
And
did
I
say
do
we'd
an-
be back in September.
Yeah, and MILB Hat History Series will probably be back in the next few weeks. So be sure to check that out, and I'll tell you guys more about that at a different time. But meanwhile, let's put a shine on the ones that are putting out content at the moment. So thanks for joining us tonight. Be sure to join us Thursday, 8:00 Eastern time, 7:00 Central. Mountain time doesn't exist. Thank these guys for all the great discussion tonight, and we will see you guys Thursday.
Good night.
We're gonna take on the world.